Jax's revenge domain. The machine vibration told me something was wrong before I even checked the readings. 0.003 off spec. In aerospace manufacturing, that's the difference between a part that flies and a part that kills people. Brandon, get in here. Cameron's voice cut through the shop floor noise. I adjusted my glasses and walked to his office, knowing exactly what this was about. Our biggest supplier in Germany was threatening to walk away, and somehow that was going to be my fault. My name is Brandon Kelly. I'm 48 years old. I run manufacturing operations for Precision Dynamics Corp., and I've been doing this kind of work for 25 years. I have 2 sons, Logan, 16, who's looking at colleges, and Hunter, 14, who still thinks his old man can fix anything. Their mother died from cancer 3 years back. Since then, it's been just us 3 figuring things out together. Cameron Ross was my boss, division director for 2 years, though I still couldn't figure out how he got promoted. The man couldn't tell the difference between 661 aluminum and 7U75 if his career depended on it, which, as it turned out, it did. We have a problem, Cameron said, leaning back in his expensive chair, always checking that watch of his, always talking about synergy like it meant something. Weber Precision Engineering, our primary supplier in Bavaria. They're threatening to cancel our contract. I'd been expecting this. Hans Weber ran a family operation outside Munich, 3 generations making precision components that could hold tolerances tighter than anything we produced in-house. I'd worked with Hans for 4 years, built a relationship based on understanding their manufacturing processes, respecting their quality standards. What's the issue? I asked, though I already knew. How should I know? You're the one who deals with these people. Like I was just some translator instead of someone who'd spent years learning their technical requirements, understanding their capabilities, building trust through competence. I'll reach out to them, I said. I called Hans that afternoon. His English was careful but clear, with that German precision that carried over into everything he did. Your company treats us like a commodity, Brandon. He told me. Last quarter they demanded price reductions. This quarter they want faster delivery schedules. They never ask if this is technically possible. They just demand. I understand, I said. Let me see what I can work out. I spent the next week putting together a real solution. Better payment terms that match their production cycles. Realistic delivery schedules based on actual manufacturing time, not wishful thinking. Long-term contracts so Hans could plan his equipment investments properly. Engineering partnerships that made sense for both sides. Cameron barely glanced at it. Just go there, he said. Go to Germany and fix this. Make them happy. That's what we pay you for. When? I asked. Next week. You'll be there 3 weeks, however long it takes. My chest tightened. Hunter had his championship tournament coming up, regional finals. He'd been working toward this all season, and I'd promised I'd be there. Logan needed help with his college applications. That's a long time, I said. The boys, your dad can watch them. Right. Figure it out, Brandon. This is your job. Cameron was right about one thing. This was my job, and jobs were hard to come by, especially good ones with benefits that could handle college tuition for 2 kids. The night before I left, Hunter sat on my workbench in the garage while I organized my travel tools. He was trying not to show disappointment, but I could see it anyway. You're gonna miss the finals, aren't you? He said. I looked at his face. 14 years old, trying to be understanding about something that wasn't fair to him. I have to go to work, son, just for a little while. I know, he said quietly. It's okay, Dad, but it wasn't okay. Not for him. Not for me. I flew to Munich on a Tuesday. The city was efficient, organized, everything running exactly on schedule. I took a taxi to the business hotel Cameron's assistant had booked. Clean, basic, nothing fancy. Company was always watching travel expenses. I met Hans Weber the next day at his facility. Not in the city, I had to rent a car and drive 45 minutes through Bavarian countryside to reach it. The building looked modest from the outside, but inside told a different story. CNC machines humming with precision that made our equipment back home look primitive. Workers in spotless coveralls measuring parts with instruments that cost more than my annual salary. The smell of cutting oil and fresh metal shavings familiar, comforting. Hans was 63, gray-haired, with the kind of firm handshake you only get from 40 years of working with your hands and your mind. His wife, Greta, handled the business operations. She brought me coffee and apple strudel while we talked. Tell me what you need, Brandon, Hans said, getting straight to business like Germans do. I need you to keep working with us, I said honestly. But I also need to understand what's not working for you. We spent that whole first day talking real technical details, tolerance requirements, material specifications, quality control procedures. Hans would pull up engineering drawings, show me their manufacturing setup, explain their process capabilities. I'd walk him through our assembly requirements, tolerance stack-ups, why certain specifications mattered for aerospace applications. This was the kind of conversation Cameron never had with suppliers. He talked at them, not with them, demanded without understanding, made promises without checking if they were technically possible. Your boss, Hans said carefully during our lunch break, when he calls us, he speaks like we are just another vendor, like our 50 years of experience means nothing. I know, I said. He talks to me the same way. Greta looked at me with something like understanding. Then why do you stay? Because I have 2 boys to support, I said. And because I'm good at what I do even if he doesn't see it. Hans nodded. In his world, competence mattered more than politics. Quality spoke louder than corporate titles. Over the next 2 weeks, we built something solid. Not just a contract renewal, a real technical partnership. I explained what Precision Dynamics actually needed, not what Cameron thought we needed. Hans explained what his facility could realistically produce within their quality standards. We found solutions that worked for everyone. Then Hans insisted on something unusual. I want you to be our primary contact, he said, not your boss, not anyone else. You understand our processes. You respect our capabilities. Every technical decision goes through you. I'm not the decision maker, I said. I'm just operations management. Then we make you the decision maker for this partnership, Hans said firmly. Every specification change, every delivery schedule, every quality requirement, it all gets approved by you. Otherwise, we don't work with Precision Dynamics anymore. I didn't understand why then. Later, I realized Hans saw what I couldn't see yet. He saw that Cameron was taking my technical work and claiming it as his own. And Hans wanted to protect what we were building together. Back home, Cameron would message me at all hours. Where are we with the contract? When is it signed? What's taking so long? Like building trust was something you could rush through a spreadsheet. I'd explain that German business culture values thoroughness over speed. That pushing too hard would destroy everything we were working toward. His responses always came back the same way. I don't need excuses. I need results. The worst part was watching Hunter's tournament from 6,000 miles away. Logan sent me video clips on his phone. Hunter at bat, looking toward the stands where I should have been sitting. He hit 2 home runs that day. After the game, he called me. We won, Dad, he said, trying to sound excited. Coach said I played like you taught me. I'm proud of you, son, I said, sitting in that German hotel room feeling like the worst father in the world. I'm sorry I wasn't there. It's okay, he said. You're working. I get it. But I could hear in his voice that it wasn't okay. And honestly, it wasn't okay with me either. Cameron made everything worse when he insisted on joining one of my video calls with Hans. I'd been trying to explain some technical specifications when Cameron's face appeared on screen. Hans, buddy, Cameron said, like they were old drinking friends. How's everything in Germany? Beautiful country. Love the beer, right? I watched Hans's expression go flat. This was a man who'd spent 40 years perfecting precision manufacturing, and Cameron was talking to him like some tourist stereotype. Mr. Ross, Hans said carefully, thank you for joining us. Cameron interrupted constantly during that call, made jokes that didn't translate, talked about Hans's operation like it was some small-town machine shop instead of a facility that supplied components to BMW and Airbus. When Hans tried to explain their quality control process, Cameron cut him off. Yeah, quality, we get it. But can you deliver on time? That's what matters to us. I watched Hans's face change. This was a man who measured success in thousandths of inches, and Cameron was treating precision like it was optional. After Cameron left the call, Hans said to me quietly, that man understands nothing about manufacturing. I'm sorry, I said. Don't apologize for him, Hans said. You are not him, but I was starting to realize that in Cameron's mind, I was just an extension of him, a tool he used to get what he wanted, then put back in the box until he needed me again. 3 weeks in Germany taught me something about myself when I talked to Hans about technical specifications, when I walked through his facility and understood how things really worked, when I solved problems that mattered. That's when I felt most like myself. Not sitting in meetings listening to Cameron talk about synergy, not pretending that corporate politics were more important than getting things right. Hans started treating me less like a vendor contact and more like a partner. He'd show me new equipment they were considering, Ask my opinion on process improvements. Include me in conversations about their long-term planning. His son Klaus, who would take over the business someday, started joining our discussions. You understand what we do here, Klaus said one afternoon. Most American companies, they just want cheaper and faster. You ask about better? Better is the only thing that matters in aerospace, I said. People's lives depend on these components working exactly as designed. Klaus nodded. This is why we want to work with you. Not with your boss, with you. The contract we built was solid. $8 million over 2 years. Enough precision components to fulfill our aerospace commitments and expand into new markets. Terms that made sense for both sides. Quality standards that meant something. Delivery schedules based on actual manufacturing capability, not wishful thinking. The signing ceremony was scheduled for Thursday morning. Hans wanted to do it properly with his whole family present. 3 generations of Weber precision engineering. This wasn't just a business transaction for them. It was about continuing a relationship they valued. I felt good about what we'd accomplished. For the first time in years, I'd built something that mattered. Something bigger than just keeping my head down and hoping Cameron wouldn't notice me. That Wednesday evening, I was in the hotel lobby, double-checking the contract documents when my phone buzzed. A text from Cameron, "You're terminated. Company card canceled. Find your own way back." I stared at the screen, read it again. Then again, no explanation, no phone call, no conversation. Just those words, delivered like he was canceling a dinner reservation. I checked my company card on the hotel computer. He wasn't lying. It was canceled. I had $180 in my wallet and a return flight booked through the company travel system that probably didn't exist anymore. After 3 weeks of work, after missing Hunter's championship, after eating cheap meals and staying in budget hotels to save the company money, after building something valuable that would benefit everyone, and Cameron had reduced it all to one text message. My fingers moved automatically. Understood. Thank you for the notification. I sat there in that lobby for maybe an hour. German business travelers walked past with their efficient luggage and their purposeful strides, living their normal lives while mine was falling apart. I kept thinking about the boys. How would I get home? Would I have to call Dad for money? The humiliation of that felt almost as bad as the text message itself. Then something clicked. Not anger exactly. Something colder, more focused. I looked at my briefcase. Inside was the unsigned contract, the one worth $8 million. The one that would save Precision Dynamics Aerospace Division for the next 2 years. The one Hans Weber had specifically structured to require my approval on every technical decision. Without me, there was no deal. I stood up, walked out of that hotel, and got in my rental car, drove back to Hans's facility one last time. The lights were still on when I arrived. Hans and Greta were in the office making final preparations for tomorrow's ceremony. They looked surprised when I walked in. Brandon, Hans said, "Is everything all right?" "You look, they fired me," I said. The words came out flat, matter-of-fact. "My boss sent a text this evening, said they're terminating me, canceled my company card, told me to find my own way home." Greta's hand went to her mouth. Hans's expression went hard as steel. After everything, he said quietly, "After 3 weeks after you built this partnership, after I missed my son's championship game," I added. Hans exchanged a look with Greta. One of those conversations married couples can have without speaking a word. "The signing tomorrow," Hans said. "What do you want to do?" That's when I understood something. Hans wasn't asking if the signing would happen. He was asking what I wanted to happen. Because the contract named me as the required technical liaison. Every specification, every change order, every quality decision had to go through me. Without me, Precision Dynamics got nothing. "What do you mean?" I asked, though I was starting to understand. "This partnership," Hans said, gesturing to the contract on his desk, "it exists because of you. Your technical knowledge, your understanding of our processes. We built this with you, not with your company, but I don't work there anymore." "Exactly," Hans said. "So why would we give them our best work?" The weight of what Hans was saying settled in slowly. The contract wasn't just paperwork, it was leverage, real leverage. "They'll send someone else," I said. "They'll try to renegotiate." "Let them try," Hans said. "I won't work with them. My family won't work with them. We built this relationship with you. Your technical knowledge, your understanding of precision manufacturing, not with that man who treats us like a commodity. But what about the other company? The one that's been calling you," Hans smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. It was sharp, calculated. "Titan Aerospace, yes. They've been contacting us for almost a year." Better terms, more respect for our capabilities. We always said no because we had an agreement in principle with Precision Dynamics. He shrugged. Now, Precision Dynamics has broken that agreement by throwing away the person who made it possible. You'd really walk away from $8 million? The money isn't walking away, Greta said quietly. It's just walking to someone else, someone who understands the value of relationships. Something loosened in my chest. Something that had been wound tight for so long I'd forgotten it was there. There's something else, Hans said. Titan Aerospace asked us last month if we knew anyone who could coordinate their European supply chain, someone who understands manufacturing, someone with technical expertise in supplier relationships. He paused, looking directly at me. I have someone in mind now. I can't, I said automatically. I need to get home to the boys. I need to find stable work. I can't take risks. This isn't a risk, Hans said firmly. This is you taking what you've earned. You built this relationship. You did the technical work. You understand our processes. Why should Precision Dynamics benefit from your knowledge after they've thrown you away? I have 2 boys to support, I said. I need steady income benefits. College is expensive. Titan Aerospace is a serious company. Greta said, they're not asking you to take a risk. They're asking you to bring your expertise to people who will value it properly. I looked at the unsigned contract in my hands. 3 weeks of my life. 3 weeks away from Hunter's Championship and Logan's college applications. All those technical discussions. All those problem-solving sessions. All that trust I'd built with Hans and his family. And Cameron had reduced it all to you're terminated. What would I need to do? I asked quietly. Hans's expression softened. Tonight, nothing. Stay here. We have a guest room upstairs. Tomorrow morning, I'll call Titan Aerospace. I'll tell them Precision Dynamics is no longer an option, and I'll introduce them to someone better. And then I'll call your old boss. Tell him there will be no signing ceremony. He'll be furious. Good, Hans said simply. I stayed in their guest room that night. It was small and clean, with a bed that felt like luxury compared to that business hotel. Greta brought me tea and more strudel. She sat with me while I tried to process everything. My father used to say something. She told me, when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Your boss showed you exactly who he is. Don't give him a second chance to prove it again. I thought about that all night, about all the times Cameron had shown me he didn't value my work, how he'd taken credit for relationships I'd built, how he'd dismissed my technical knowledge while depending on it completely. I'd ignored it all because I needed the job, because I was scared, because I thought I didn't have other options. The next morning, Hans made his phone calls. First, he called someone at Titan Aerospace. I could only hear his side of the conversation, but it sounded promising. Yes, this is Hans Weber from Weber Precision Engineering. We spoke last month about partnership opportunities. Is that still of interest? Excellent. I have someone you should meet. He's the reason Precision Dynamics wanted to work with us. Now he's available. Then Hans called Cameron. He put the phone on speaker so I could hear both sides. My hands were steady now. No more adjusting my glasses nervously. Cameron answered on the second ring. Hans, finally, I've been trying to reach you all morning. Are we set for the signing ceremony? No, Hans said calmly. We're not set. Silence on Cameron's end. What do you mean? Cameron's voice had changed. Tighter. More controlled. I mean, there will be no signing ceremony, no contract. Weber Precision Engineering will not be working with Precision Dynamics. Is this about money? Because we can negotiate terms. We're flexible on pricing. This is about respect, Hans interrupted. Something you clearly don't understand. Now wait a minute. I don't know what Brandon told you, but he was terminated for cause. This has nothing to do with our business relationship. He told me you fired him via text message. Hans said, after he spent 3 weeks here building something valuable. After he missed his son's championship tournament to be here. After he worked harder than anyone I've seen in years. You threw him away like defective inventory. That's an internal personnel matter, Cameron said. His voice was getting higher, more defensive. It has nothing to do with our manufacturing agreement. It has everything to do with it, Hans said firmly. Brandon was our agreement. We negotiated with him. We trust his technical judgment. We built this partnership based on his understanding of our capabilities. We don't trust you, so there's no partnership. You can't do this. We have a verbal agreement. We have commitments. Our spring product line depends on your components. You had an agreement with Brandon Kelly, Hans said. You terminated Brandon Kelly. So you terminated our agreement. This is ridiculous. You're being emotional about a simple personnel decision. I'm being practical about a business relationship, Hans corrected. And now I'm going to work with Titan Aerospace instead. They've been asking us for partnership for over a year. We said no because we were loyal to Precision Dynamics. But Precision Dynamics wasn't loyal to the person who made this partnership possible. Wait, Hans, let's talk about this rationally. We can work something out. Maybe Brandon's termination was premature. We could bring him back, renegotiate his position. Too late, Hans said. You showed us how you treat valuable people. We choose not to do business with companies that operate that way. He hung up. I stared at Hans, my heart beating fast enough that I could feel it against my ribs. Did you really just? I started. I did, Hans said calmly. And now, let's talk about your new career. Titan Aerospace wanted to meet me that same afternoon. Hans arranged everything. A car service to their Munich office. A proper introduction. The whole professional treatment. The Titan building was impressive. Modern glass and steel in a good part of the city. I felt underdressed walking in there with my travel clothes, but the receptionist treated me like I was someone important. Rachel Bennett met me in the lobby. Maybe 50 years old, sharp business suit, but with genuinely warm eyes. She had the kind of firm handshake that said she'd earned her position through competence, not politics. Hans speaks very highly of you, she said as we walked to her office. Tell me about yourself. I told her everything, not the sanitized corporate version, the real story. About the boys and what they meant to me. About working at Precision Dynamics and building supplier relationships because I actually understood manufacturing. About being stranded in Germany after missing my son's championship, and yet still being here today instead of on a plane home begging for a different job. Why? She asked. Why are you here instead of rushing back to find another position? Because Hans made me realize something, I said. I'm good at what I do. Really good. And I'm tired of working for people who don't recognize that. Rachel leaned back in her chair. Hans said you built an $8 million partnership from scratch. Technical specifications, quality requirements, delivery schedules. Is that accurate? Yes. Could you do that again? For us? Yes, I said. And for the first time in years, I completely meant it. Then let's talk about what you'd need to make this work. Rachel Bennett asked me something no boss had ever asked before. What do you need to make this work for you? I told her about needing to be home for the boys, about Logan's college applications and Hunter's baseball season, about wanting fair compensation and respect for technical expertise, about building something that would last. Done, Rachel said. All of it. We'll structure this as VP of Global Supply Chain. Home base in the States. Travel to Europe every 6 weeks instead of extended stays. Salary that reflects your value minus $140,000 base plus performance bonuses. Full benefits, college tuition assistance for your sons. I almost asked her to repeat that. Nobody had ever offered me that kind of package before. When can you start? She asked. I need to get home first, I said. See the boys. Explain what's happening. Then I can come back. We'll arrange your flight today. When you're ready to return, we'll handle everything. Furnished corporate apartment, company car, whatever you need. Walking out of that meeting, I felt like I was living someone else's life. Someone who got treated like their expertise mattered. My phone started ringing that evening. Cameron, over and over. I didn't answer. Then the text started. Call me immediately. What did you tell Weber? This is sabotage. You'll be hearing from our lawyers. You're destroying this company. I deleted each message without reading them completely. Then he tried a different approach. Brandon, let's talk this through. Maybe I was hasty yesterday. We can work something out. The company needs you. I blocked his number. Hans drove me to the Munich airport the next morning. He'd paid for my ticket, wouldn't let me argue about it. You earned this opportunity, he said, at the departure gate. You earned respect. You earned recognition for your technical knowledge. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Thank you, I said, for everything. Thank yourself, he said. You did the work. You had the courage to walk away from people who didn't value you. I just opened a door. You walked through it. Dad picked me up from the airport. One look at my face, and he knew something had changed. What happened over there, he asked. I told him the whole story during the drive home. He kept shaking his head, glancing at me like he was checking if this was really his son talking. So you just walked away from them and now you have a better job? I didn't walk away, I said. They threw me away. I just made sure they couldn't benefit from what I'd built. The boys were waiting when I got home. Hunter tackled me at the door, Logan right behind him. "Dad," Hunter said, "you're back early. I thought you'd be gone another week." "Plans changed," I said, holding both of them. "Everything's changed, actually, and it's all good." That weekend, Precision Dynamics tried reaching me through HR. Some administrative person sent a formal message. "Cameron Ross would like to discuss your return to the company. We're prepared to offer enhanced compensation and position advancement." I wrote back, "I don't have a position to return to. I was terminated via text message while on company business overseas. Please remove me from all company communications." They tried 2 more times with different people delivering the same message. I ignored them all. 6 weeks later, I was back in Munich working for Titan Aerospace. This time, everything was different. Proper apartment in the city center, company BMW, schedule that got me home every month for extended time with the boys. Rachel met me on my first day back. "Ready to build something?" "Absolutely," I said. The work was similar to what I'd done before, finding suppliers, negotiating technical specifications, building relationships based on mutual respect. But everything else had changed. When I had ideas, people listened. When I identified problems, they gave me resources to solve them. When I did good work, they acknowledged it publicly. I helped Titan Aerospace secure not just precision components from Hans's family, but specialized alloys from suppliers in Switzerland, advanced materials from manufacturers in Austria, electronic components from firms in the Netherlands. Every technical relationship I built was valued because it created real competitive advantage. The boys adjusted better than I'd expected. Hunter made varsity baseball as a sophomore. Logan got accepted to 3 good engineering schools with partial scholarships. "Dad's got an important job now," Hunter told his teammates. "He works with companies all over Europe. Is that true?" Logan asked me during one of my trips home. "It's important to me," I said, "but you and Hunter are more important. That's why I structured it so I could be home most of the time." "I like having you around more," Hunter said. "And I like those German cookies you bring back." 4 months after I started with Titan, their new aerospace division launched. Every component was sourced through relationships I'd built. The precision, the quality standards, the delivery reliability, everything held up under the most demanding requirements. Orders started flowing in from defense contractors who'd never worked with Titan before. Aviation Week wrote a feature article about their breakthrough in precision manufacturing. Industry analysts called it a game changer. Rachel called me into her office after the quarterly results came out. "Do you understand what you've accomplished here?" "I built a reliable supply chain," I said. "You built us a competitive moat," she corrected. "These supplier relationships, this technical expertise you bring, our competitors can't replicate this overnight." "Maybe not ever." She offered me equity in the company. Stock options that could be worth serious money if we kept growing. "A guarantee that I'd be involved in any expansion decisions?" "Yes," I said, "to all of it." Meanwhile, Precision Dynamics was struggling. I didn't go looking for this information. News travels fast in aerospace manufacturing. People talk at trade shows. Suppliers share stories. Without Hans's components, they couldn't fulfill their spring contracts. They tried finding replacement suppliers, but nobody could match the precision standards. The parts they produced were inferior. Customers started rejecting shipments. Defense contracts got canceled. Commercial aerospace clients went to competitors. The division that was supposed to generate $25 million in revenue that year instead created losses, returns, legal disputes. Cameron tried everything. Fired other people on his team. Restructured operations, made promises about fixing quality issues, but the damage was spreading. 8 months after that text message in the Munich hotel, Precision Dynamics sold their aerospace division to a competitor. The entire operation shut down. Cameron lost his job, obviously. But what happened next was harder to track. Word was he tried finding similar positions at other aerospace companies. Nobody would hire him. When potential employers called references, they heard about the Weber Precision disaster, how he'd destroyed an $8 million partnership because he couldn't recognize talent. Last I heard, he was working for some small manufacturing company nobody had heard of, making maybe half his old salary. I didn't celebrate when I learned this. I just felt relieved. Relieved that I'd gotten out when I did, that I'd found people who valued technical competence over corporate politics. A year after everything happened, Titan Aerospace opened their North American headquarters in Seattle. They flew me and the boys out for the grand opening. Logan and Hunter walked through the facility wearing their best clothes, eyes wide at the precision equipment and clean manufacturing floors. Every component on display represented relationships I'd helped build. "Dad, you really helped create all this?" Hunter asked. "I helped connect the right people," I said. The precision engineers in Germany, the material specialists in Switzerland, the manufacturers across Europe. I helped match their capabilities with people who appreciate quality work. "That's pretty cool," Logan said seriously. "Like, really cool." Rachel found me near the end of the event. "I'm glad you brought the boys," she said. "They should see what their father has built." "They're the reason I built it," I said. That night, flying home with both boys asleep against my shoulders, I thought about how much had changed. A year ago, I was standing in a Munich hotel lobby, reading a text message that said I was terminated, scared, stranded, with $180 in my wallet and no idea how to get home. Now I had work that respected my expertise, suppliers around the world who valued my technical knowledge, financial security that meant Logan could attend any college he wanted and Hunter could focus on baseball without worrying about money. Most importantly, I'd learned that I didn't have to accept being treated as disposable. That technical competence and integrity still mattered in business, even if they didn't matter to everyone. Hans retired last month, officially turning Weber Precision Engineering over to Klaus. At the celebration dinner, he pulled me aside one final time. "You know what I'm most proud of?" he asked. "Building such a successful family business," I guessed. "No," he said. "I'm proud that I recognized your worth when your own boss couldn't see it. I'm proud that I gave you the chance you deserved. And I'm proud of everything you've accomplished since then." "Thank you," I said, "for believing in me when I wasn't sure I believed in myself." "You always had the expertise," Hans said. "You just needed to find people who valued it properly. So that's my story." That's what happened when my boss terminated me via text message while I was stranded overseas, building value he didn't appreciate. I didn't get typical revenge. I didn't destroy Cameron directly or sabotage anything. I just stopped helping. I stopped building for someone who treated my expertise as disposable. And I let the natural consequences unfold. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't destruction, it's refusing to save someone from their own poor judgment. Sometimes the best revenge is simply choosing to work for people who recognize your worth. The boys understand this now. They've seen how treating people with respect creates better outcomes than treating them as expendable. They've watched their father build something meaningful by valuing relationships and technical excellence over corporate politics. That's worth more than any revenge I could have planned. And here's what I learned that changed everything. Your technical skills mean nothing if you let the wrong people control how they're valued. But when you find the right people, those same skills become your greatest asset.